Back again for another quintet of Warchant's top 40 players of 2025, the educated guessing year, especially so here on Warchant TV. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. It's absolutely free. Matt Lasser, staff reporter, recruiting reporter, everything reporter at warchant.com joins us today, and the wildly popular Jeff Cameron Show host, the namesake. He's Jeff Cameron. My name is Tom Lang. Welcome, everybody. Make sure to let us know in the comments what you think of this list, because here we go. Here's the unveiling, 15 through 11. You can see it there. You got a couple of safeties here. Earl Little Jr. at 15, Shaheen Brown at 13, a couple of offensive linemen, Richie Leonard the 4th, Gunnar Hansen, Randy Pitman. We're going to talk about all those players today. We're going to start at number 15 with safety Earl Little Jr., who, before we put this list together, we didn't know who the ACC kickoff representative was going to be, the 4 representatives. It's a good sign for Earl Little that he's heading to Charlotte, Matt Lasser, and a good sign for you because you had Earl the highest on the list of the 3 of us. You had him at 11th. Go ahead and brag on why you think that Earl Little is basically a top 10 player this season.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the spring, I mean, I guess last year wasn't that great for him. Last year wasn't great for anybody. But looking at this spring, if you were to pick, and normally we do, we didn't do it this year because we couldn't watch practice. If you were to pick like a king of the spring or whoever won the spring, he was, if not that winner, he was really close, like top 2, 3. So again, he's one that I keep hearing, I think you guys keep hearing as well, has been performing really well in workouts and camp so far. So it's one that I think he's kind of transitioned into a leader on this team, which is something we needed. And yeah, him going to Charlotte means that he has been doing well in camp, and he's one that the staff expects to do really well this year. Like I know just from talking to the staff that they expect him to do well, and they've been raving about him. I do expect him to be more at that rover hybrid position, and that's another position change for him. He's gone from nickel back to safety and now to this rover, which is closer to safety, but it's a hybrid with the linebacker. So, and I think he's finally found his role in that.
We all agree, Jeff, this is an important player because all of us had him in our top 20s respectively. We love the motor. Why did you have him at 20?
Well, ever since he got switched to safety, and like you're talking about, I think that provided some freedom. I think the rover role will suit him well. He's a heat-seeking missile. I think back to the 6 tackles against Miami in a game in which 3/4, if not 90% of the team were going through the motions against a rival. I'm still disgusted by it. I'm still deeply saddened that that was the mindset in a rivalry game. The guy that stood out was Earl Little Jr. The guy that stood out who was playing a game like it mattered, like it was a rivalry game. A guy whose hair was on fire in that game was Earl Little Jr. He's got the stuff. He's got the motor. He's just got to be able to slow the game down. Will he be where he needs to be? I know he's going to play fast. I know he's going to play hard. I need him to play smarter and more consistent. If he can do that, I think he could be really one of the guys that Florida State fans fall in love with in Tony White's defense. I think he's suited for this defense like Matt was referring to. I'm excited about him and the chances that he plays very, very well. Obviously, the athleticism is there, so I'm pretty excited for Earl Little Jr.
It's not quite the Tommy Castellanos level of designed around him, but it feels like the rover position is perfect for Earl Little Jr.
Yes, it does.
See what he brings to the table in 2025. Next up on the list at 14, Richie Leonard the 4th. This is a guy that Florida State was super excited to get out of the transfer portal last offseason out of Florida, interior offensive lineman. Much like Matt, I'm going to brag here because we didn't know that he was going to be sent to Charlotte for the ACC kickoff, but he's going. I had him at 12. Jeff, you had him at 16. Matt at 19. Jeff, I mean, I was thinking in spring it's not a lock that Richie Leonard was going to be a starter because you brought in Adrian Medley and Andre Otto's knocking at the door, and he's got some injury concerns. Seems like if Florida State is thinking well enough of him to send him to speak for the program that you could probably put him in ink as a starter.
Perfectly suited as a guard at 330 pounds, 6'1", 6'2", somewhere in that neighborhood. He's a guy who can just drive people off the ball. I thought he played well before he got hurt. He's a guy who I think has starter written all over him if he's healthy. Let's hope that's the case. He's trying to make some money. This would be the year. So this is a guy who, again, I think has a little nastiness to him. He's played a ton of college football, I think over 30 games. So this is a guy that, is experienced. He's veteran. He's huge. He's a road grader. They're going to run the ball. It seems perfectly suited for him in this offense.
And Matt, anything you've heard from the offseason whispers around Richie Leonard, and why did you have him at 19?
I mean, he does have to be a leader on this offensive line, right? He's the only one out of the starters. He's going to be the only one that's here for a year too. So, and he until he got injured, he was the bright spot last year. Richie's my guy. I love Richie. If you sit and watch him walk up to practice, he looks like he's a 10-year NFL vet. The way he carries himself. That there was one time he was talking to, I forget who it was, but one of the linemen said like, "Oh, I heard you guys were talking about me or something," to the media. Was walking by, and Richie goes like, "Why do you care? Like, why are you paying attention to that stuff?" So I can tell you Richie Leonard's not watching this. But
good job, Richie.
Yeah, that's the kind of person he is. He's low key. He's good when it comes. Everything you want in offensive lineman, in my opinion, is Richie Leonard. And I'm excited. It doesn't surprise me that he's going to Charlotte as your offensive line guy. As I said, he has to be a leader. He's the one who's been here with Norvell on that offensive line in terms of starters the longest. So he has to be in that role. And I'm really excited to hopefully see a full season out of him this year.
Next up is one of the biggest X factors for this season. We all have him ranked in the upper half of our list, but Shaheen Brown, such an important year. We said this last year for Shaheen Brown, but this is a critical year for Shaheen. Matt, I'm going to come back to you because I have him at 13. Jeff has him at 14. I didn't love putting him at 13. As I've said on every video, I think I've been on the top 40. The safety position concerns me greatly, but I thought I had to put him at 13 rather than, I was compelled to place him at that point in the top 40. Why did you have him at 23? Is my doubt? What's your feeling? Let me know why you have Shaheen Brown where you have him.
Yeah, 100%. The doubt is what I put, or why I put him at 23. And it's kind of that borderline where, like, when you're making the list, the top 22 guys are the ones you expect to start, right? So again, this safety room is so crowded, and you don't really know where it could go. Honestly, I don't think we're really going to know until we get that depth chart week 1, and because there's not really going to be a way to tell until then. And even then, Mike Norvell always plays that down and says that's not a real depth chart and all that kind of stuff. So it's just hard to tell if he's been a starter. I thought he digressed last year. So it's just kind of, we have to see how it goes and how he performs when it comes to camp. And again, that safety room is so crowded that it's just hard to tell, besides like Jeremiah Wilson or these other guys, who's really penciled in.
Made me laugh heartily when Mike said last year that the depth chart means nothing, yet they updated They updated it every week, so I updated. Jeff, you had him at 14, Shaheen Brown. I mean, look, there are points of his career where you go, that's a dude right there. And then there are other points where the anger you expressed earlier about the Miami game, there are moments where he's on the other side of that. Why did you have him at 14?
I think he's going to start is why I had him at 14, but I could be wrong, and I'd be all right with that too. He definitely regressed last year. He's also shown a lack of leadership at times. He's a guy that has to be more physical. He doesn't create turnovers for all the kicks that he's blocked here. He doesn't create interceptions, doesn't anything like that. Turned it down a lot last year, in my opinion. I thought this was a guy who was affected by the malaise that affected the entirety of that team when they started losing games. So I'm not singling him out. I think a lot of guys started to kind of go through the motions and turn it down a little bit physically. That's troublesome. It doesn't mean he can't fulfill his potential, which has been on display in the past. He's played a ton of football for Florida State. He's made some plays for Florida State. He's a guy who I know is tough in the sense that he won't turn down a fight. I mean, this is a guy that can be tough. I just need him to be consistent. I need him to be mature. I need him to excel in Tony White's defense. And it might happen for him. This might be the best thing for him, Tony White coming in here, but so many question marks. So I project him as a starter. That's why I had him where I had him. I project him as a guy that's going to be productive this year. Has to be. It's his last chance. But I was really bitterly disappointed in the season he had a year ago.
From bitter disappointment to unabashed optimism, Jeff, I'm coming back to you for your guy, tight end Randy Pitman. This is a versatile player out of UCF that follows Gus Malzahn, follows the UCF coaching staff to Florida State. He comes in at number 12 on the list, but you, sir, you had him at number 5. Go ahead and brag on why you think Randy Pitman is going to be that important this year.
Well, he's Gus's guy. He's a tough SOB. He's multiple in that he's kind of that. I think you can use him in a lot of different ways, almost H-back-like, also tight end. He's very, very physical. He runs the ball with a little what for when he gets it. He's a guy that understands what Gus wants to do, and that's the answer. He has been in this system. He is Gus's guy. He came over with him and had a great spring. I think he's going to be a guy that Gus really relies on in this first year in the system at Florida State. Gus Malzahn's going to want some things that are familiar. He's got a guy who he knows can run it and also, run the system and understand where to be and handle the rigors of it, the tempo of it, but he'll bring physicality to it. So I love him. I think he's going to be a household name for us at Florida State. He's going to make a lot of plays. He's going to be featured quite a bit. I think he's one of the better players in this group.
In an offense like this, it's really fun, folks, to watch that specific position go to work because they do everything and they're everywhere. Sometimes they use as decoys. Sometimes they are the guy in the seam route that's wide the hell open over the middle of the field. And you go, how is that guy that wide open? Think about the 2013 national championship game. This is what Randy Pitman can provide. Matt, you had him at 14. Sorry, you had him at 13, one place above me. Why did you have Randy Pitman there? And what do you have to say about what maybe the coaches have said about Randy Pitman?
Yeah, it's just first of all, off of summer workouts, I've heard he's been really good so far in those. Take that for what it is. They're not in pads and they're just kind of running routes on air. But still, I've heard really good things about him, and I think we all have. He's one that we expect to play a big role. He's probably going to be the third, if not second, leading receiver if you put Deuce Robinson at number 1. So, and Squirrel White is 2 or 3 as well. He's going to be a huge part. And again, really fun to watch. He's electric.
Gunnar Hansen comes in at number 11. And you're welcome, Gunnar Hansen. It's because I put him at number 2. I am that large of a believer. I'm casting the mortgage payments, all of it in on Gunnar Hansen having a big year. Jeff had him at 7. Matt had him at 17. I'm going to explain why very quickly I had him at number 2. This offense is going to run the football a lot, and it's going to run the football some more. And then it's going to run the football a lot, then it's going to run the football some more. He's also the left tackle. He's going to be covering the blind side. Micah Pettis might be a better NFL prospect, but he's on the right side. And last time I checked, Tommy Castellanos is a right-handed quarterback. So the blind side's important for when you do drop back. They're going to run the ball. This is somebody who's been an SEC Offensive Lineman of the Week. He was against Alabama and Vandy's upset last year. He's just got to be healthy. But I'm banking on offensive line. Jeff, you had him at 7. I'm assuming it's the same kind of logic.
Yeah, starting left tackle is why I had him at 7. I wonder if he'll opening snap, Doak Campbell Stadium, first game of the year. Get you some, Bama. You don't want any more of this. You know what I did to you all last year? I bet you're shocked to see me lining up here at left tackle. Yeah, I hope he plays well, obviously. They need him to. They need him to. But because I think they're going to run the ball excessively, I didn't put the value at left tackle in terms of protecting the blind side as high as you did, Tom. I think they're going to move Tommy around quite a bit, so it's not your traditional from the pocket surveying the field where you would really need somebody to hold up there on a blind side. So I docked him a little bit because of that. It's not a traditional left tackle role with Tommy Castellanos as your quarterback or this offense, but I understand it. And I do have him in the top 10. So clearly I think enough of him. Hey, you brought him in to start. You brought a guy in just like you did a lot of these offensive linemen that you've seen do it in big time college football in a conference where obviously physicality is treasured. So Gunnar Hansen has to play well. That's why I'm at 7.
Matt, why do you not believe in Gunnar Hansen the way that I believe in Gunnar Hansen? You got him at 17. Clearly he's an important player for you, but he's your third offensive lineman. I did notice that. What trepidation do you have for Gunnar Hansen, and why were, for example, Pettibon and Micah Pettis higher on your list?
Well, Micah Pettis, I think, might be one of the highest paid guys on this roster, so that's why he's ahead, and I think he needs to be really important. Luke Pettibon has been a leader, and we clearly have seen he's been a leader from press conferences and talking to coaches. But again, Gunnar Hansen, I am still very high on him, and talk about protecting the blind side. When your quarterback's going to talk as much trash, you have to be pretty good at that. And he's used to it. He's coming from Diego Pavia, so he's used to having those guys and being able to protect them. So maybe something goes with that. But yeah, I remember when he committed, we were outside Moore doing waiting for portal guys to come out. Everyone was, the whole staff, a lot of the offensive line staff happened to be outside at the time, and they were very excited. This was one of their top guys in the portal. I remember one guy being like, yeah, they had the other guys they had brought in at the time, like the guy from UCF who ended up committing to Arkansas, stuff like that. Got guys they missed on. They're like, but this guy, Gunnar, he's a dude. They were very excited about him, and he was out, but he was in by the end of spring. He didn't miss that much spring time. So again, I think he's going to be really good. And yeah, I found it funny that the trash talk connection, Diego Pavia, Tommy Castellano. So he has to be good at protecting when, especially good thing he's already gone against Bama, so he knows how to do it.
Yeah, help him cash the checks that he's writing right now in the offseason. That's our top 15 to 11 in the countdown. We'll be coming up next on Warchant TV with 6 through 10, a couple of skill position players for Florida State on offense, and then probably the largest in terms of size, the largest transfer that Florida State brought in the offseason coming up next. For Jeff Cameron and Matt Lasser, I'm Tom Lang. Make sure to like the video if you enjoyed this content and check out all the top 40 videos if you've missed any right here on Warchant TV.